Good afternoon or good evening to Slovakia. It is my pleasure to welcome you all at our Slovak Startup Sharks event. Very glad that you can all join us, and I'm excited to see that we have a lot of people joining us as I speak. So this event is part of an event series that we started a few years ago, where we, as Slovak professionals in New York, partner with other organizations such as Slovak the Slovak American Foundation or the Slovak Embassy in the US to present successful and upcoming Slovak companies that are doing some truly amazing work and are entering the US market. Today, we are here to learn about them and support them. As Slovak professionals, we have a community of some of the best minds in business, science, design, and many other industries. And we can all provide such wonderful resources and support to these companies and our fellow Slovaks. I'm always amazed at the level of support and friendship our community can provide. And I'm hoping that today's event will be a great benefit, not only to these companies, but in general to the Slovak American business cooperation. So many of you might know me, but my name is Vlado Lackovic, and I'm one of the leaders of the Slovak professionals in New York. And I also run a full-service digital agency called Digital Natives that I started 10 years ago. So I'm very excited to learn about these companies myself. I will be one of the co-moderators of this event. I would like to now introduce you to my wonderful colleague, Kika Soyakova, who will introduce herself. She will talk about her business background, but most importantly, she will introduce our startups and the format of our event. So Kika, I'll leave it to you.
Thanks, Vlatko. Thanks so much for the introduction. And I'm happy to be here together with you. And as you may know me, my name is Kika Soyakova. I am proud to be part of the New York professionals. And beyond that, I'm with IBM for nearly 15 years, and the last 6 in IBM's headquarters in New York. And it's with great pleasure that we are connecting smart folks across the Atlantic. And today we have a fine lineup for you. Please know that you can ask questions at slido.com/SlovakSharks. We have 4 startups for you today, and each will do a sales pitch introducing their business, and we will, with my co-host Vlatko, have a couple questions, but we would love to ask your questions from Slido if you send us any. And so let me start by introducing our dear guests. And first of all, I would like to welcome Riccio Fetico. He is going to introduce his startup called Altfins. He was our fellow New Yorker. So it's a great pleasure having Riccio with us. As well, we will have Pavel Schmitzer from Cryonic. You guys can come on camera.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. So Paolo will talk about Cryonic and passwordless systems. We will have Juraj Gago, who is as well the latest Forbes 30 under 30, who will present his simplicity, and Tomáš Gliviak, who will share with us Westberry. Welcome, guys.
Hi, guys. Thanks for introduction and being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having us. So we would love to start with you, Riccio, and learn a little bit more about Altfins.
Great. I'm going to share my screen. I don't really have, let's see.
Technology.
Don't really have a presentation, but a website that we built that I can share with you. You can see that?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay. Clicking on the share button helps. So quickly, and shout out to all the New Yorkers. I hope to see you guys possibly next summer, not this one, but it's amazing that it's already been 7 years since I left. But happy to connect this way, and perhaps some of you can help us as well. So Altfins is an online platform for cryptocurrency traders and investors. It essentially helps users finding trade ideas create trading strategies, and scan cryptocurrencies and trade across multiple crypto exchanges. And the idea behind this project really started in 2017 when I started dabbling in cryptocurrency trading. That's when the Bitcoin went, rallied up to 20,000 before it plummeted down to $3,000. But at the height of it, it sucked me in, and I've been just blown away by it ever since. And so I started dabbling with it and trading, and I got extremely frustrated that there weren't any tools that I was used to having in my traditional finance or Wall Street days like Bloomberg and others. Of course, in early days in crypto, I shouldn't have expected anything. So I decided that I and a team of developers from Košice were going to develop a tool like that to help traders and investors scan the market and find some interesting trading opportunities. Because one of the biggest problems, or a couple of bigger problems in the marketplace right now in these really early stages of cryptocurrency space or digital asset category, is that it's very fragmented. So there are over 300 crypto exchanges that exist today. Some of them are regional or country-based, and the information is also extremely scattered, and it's very different in terms of the traditional, or in terms of the information flows and sources versus the traditional financial assets like stocks. So it's extremely fragmented. And so our platform tries to aggregate a lot of the data into one easy tool or a dashboard for the traders. And the second problem is that fragmentation creates a big data problem. For example, we ingest on a daily basis, we ingest about 300 million records a day and do about 1 billion calculations a day. And so this is also a huge problem that we tackled. And with some ups and downs, we successfully have done so. And so I'll mention a couple other things before I kind of show some of the platform visuals. But the competitive differentiation that we have is really the analytics. So there's a lot of platforms that focus on helping you, the trader, execute a trade for better price, maybe a lower fee, this and that. But really almost no one focuses on the pre-trade analysis. What should the trader be buying and selling, and why? Can he create some kind of a investment framework or strategy around these cryptocurrencies? And there's thousands of them now. How do I find the right one? And so that's where we step in, and our platform steps in and creates the pre-trade analysis and a tool for scanning the marketplace for trading ideas. We truly have a global user base. We focus on the US and UK and English-speaking countries, but really have users. It blows me away, from Iran, a lot of them from India, Nigeria, and South Africa. It's quite mind-blowing. The crypto community is truly global. And so when I go, this is our homepage, but when I go to the platform, which hopefully you can see the platform as well, Kika?
Yeah, we can see it. Perfect.
Okay, great. So just real quick, we have some sections like the pattern section. So our system automatically detects certain trading patterns. So it's almost like, I don't want to overuse this term, but artificial intelligence, but basically the engine tries to find some trading patterns based on some historical data and suggest trading ideas to the trader. This is a very popular feature of our platform. We also have a screener, which is basically a scanner. I can create my own scan and scan the market based on certain criteria, either a market cap or a certain price level or moving averages, crossing, and things like that. So various different, what we call technical indicators that the traders and investors can put together to scan the market and find the ideas that fit their criteria. Of course, traders can create their watch list of cryptocurrencies that they want to keep an eye on and analyze and look at their charts. We enable alerts. So again, traders can get alerted when a certain cryptocurrency crosses a certain price threshold or or some of the technical indicators like MACD, RSI reach certain levels. We also aggregate news. This is also a very popular section of our site, where we aggregate a few thousand Twitter handles and all the tweets from those handles into a single news feed. And here now the traders can again find some market moving news or catalysts that they focus on. Maybe a cryptocurrency is getting listed by an exchange, or there's an airdrop, or some kind of a partnership announcement and so on. So this is quite heavily used. And then we also have the portfolio and trading functions as well, which allow the traders to actually place the trades and monitor their portfolios. So I encourage you, if you're in this space at all, take a look at the platform, and if you like it, spread the word. That's it for me. Any questions?
We have quite a lot of questions here, but this is extremely exciting and also very complicated to understand from somebody that does not trade in crypto. So
yeah, we have a ton of articles and YouTube videos that we created on in our knowledge base as well, that helps even the novices to kind of onboard.
So that answered my first question. If somebody is new to this, is this platform going to help them? So I'm glad that you provide that support. So my next question is, what are, this is a risky market, somewhat unpredictable. What do you as a company consider the biggest risk over the next couple of years to you?
Probably over-regulation to some extent. We expect to be, to some extent, regulation will be positive because it may actually legitimize this new asset class and open it to more traders and investors and more institutions, and will become mainstream. Mm-hmm. But over-regulating may also hurt us. So that careful balance is something that we'll have to keep an eye on. Other than that, I don't know. From I mean, there's a lot of, because it's under-regulated right now. There's a lot of scams, of course, that occur, and that's something that we also try to help with. But I think over-regulation is the number one issue long term. I think some of these scams and the wild west sort of behavior will filter out naturally over time.
Okay.
Riccio, we have an interesting question on Slido. The question is, do you support algorithmic trading based on patterns?
Good question. Not today. We are hoping to, however, launch patterns-based algorithm on our site that the traders will be able to basically turn on, turn off. And so, yeah, good question. It's in the pipeline.
Sounds good. And who would be like your ideal client?
For now, it's really retail investors. Institutional guys can use it, but I'll be the first to admit that perhaps it's for institutional, real like hedge funds and algo traders. It's not there, and it's not really intended for them. Those are the kind of guys that can code their own algorithms. We don't have that capability of allowing someone to code their own sort of algorithm and trading strategy. We provide sort of trading strategy blocks that people can put together. So I'd say we're in the middle of the tier. We're not complete beginners, guys who have never traded any asset class, but those who have perhaps traded forex or stocks and are looking to enter cryptocurrencies, but not really the more advanced or the most advanced traders who now are ready to do their own Python-based, coded algorithms. So we're kind of in the middle, advanced beginners or intermediate type of investors and traders.
Perfect. And so what is the growth strategy for this year and going forward? Where do you plan to be?
Well, we really launched this year, and it's been pleasing to see that we've had 30,000 users last in April, and this month about 60,000 users. So we're growing. Marketing. I mean, marketing is the toughest part now, in part because the cryptocurrency, the target market, the cryptocurrency community is global, but it's spread out, and it's still a relatively small percentage of population or addressable market. Now it's growing, the market's coming to us, so it'll be easier every year. But because it's so spread out, it's difficult to, you really have to be very targeted in finding them. Otherwise, you're going to blow your entire budget very quickly on some mainstream, broad-based campaigns. So the challenge is market, and also crypto marketing is oftentimes very much constrained and restricted. I mean, Twitter restricts it, Google restricts it, Google and YouTube restricts it, Facebook. So we really have to be very careful about what kind of message we can use to not piss off some of these media companies, unfortunately, that have that control the end user. And so what we've seen, and it works really well, is, for example, YouTube influencers. So anyone out there who knows YouTube influencers in this space or in the financial space, we love to have some introductions. But the growth strategy is really just getting the message out there. The product, I think, is very solid, very unique and differentiated, and we're getting really good feedback. But it's just getting into more people's minds is the challenge now.
What help would you need, Riccio, from a group of Slovak professionals?
Yeah, on the business development side, anyone who knows companies that operate in this space, whether it's exchanges or brokers, or even individual projects, media sites in the cryptocurrency space, YouTubers like I mentioned, or influencers on Twitter. We'd love those kind of introductions to help our marketing efforts.
Perfect. Yeah, so we will definitely try to follow up with you and our whole community and see if anybody has anything to offer. This is really exciting to see that we have companies like yours in Slovakia trying to do such amazing work. That's really breakthroughs. Stuff that you're not the 10th company that's doing this. You're the number one that's actually doing something amazing like this. So yeah.
Yep. Thank you for that.
Inspiring.
Pioneer. Thanks, Riccio.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
As next one, we would love to introduce Pavel and Pavel Schmitzer. If you could introduce to us Cryonic and what's so special about that startup.
Thank you. Let me try to share my screen as well. So hopefully you can see now. Not much to see except for the slogan that we use. So hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you Slovak professionals for this opportunity to introduce Cryonic. Cryonic is a cybersecurity startup. Our vision is to create a more secure cyberspace where people and companies can actually communicate and transact with one another without risks to their privacy and loss of any valuable data. And we believe this can only be achieved by protecting everyone's digital identity in a way that is provably secure and very easy to use. Just a second. Technology. All right. So for past decades, we all have been using a combination of username and passwords to digitally authenticate, right? This was okay for the old world, where computers were not constantly online, where people worked in a secured office. There was no cloud to steal the data from, and there were no armies of cyber criminals. But obviously today, the data is the most valuable commodity, and cyberspace is where we spend a large portion of our lives. So using old-fashioned methods to protect ourselves simply doesn't work. Just look at the recent cyber attacks on Microsoft Exchange, Colonial Pipeline and SolarWinds that left tens of thousands of businesses and organizations vulnerable, including Fortune 500 companies, the US federal government agencies, and multiple others all around the world. These are just some of the news from recent weeks. IBM says that the average cost of a cybersecurity breach is almost $4 million. And according to Microsoft research, more than 80% of all cyber attacks are related to passwords. Last week, President Biden signed the executive order that focuses on cybersecurity. And interestingly, it includes some very concrete measures that all federal government agencies must apply that include zero trust architecture and multi-factor authentication. Well, in Cryonic, we design, develop, and manufacture a multi-factor authentication device called the Key Vault. It replaces passwords and other phishable credentials with cryptographic keys while providing a frictionless user experience thanks to biometrics. Our solution eliminates phishing as one of the most common attack vectors. Consequently, that reduces the other types of attacks that phishing usually leads to. We primarily focus on the most sensitive use cases and high-risk users, those that access critical systems and deal with sensitive data. So we're talking about healthcare employees accessing patient records and having to comply with the HIPAA legislation, the system administrators with privileged access to user accounts and credentials, company executives whose identity theft leads to very large financial losses, especially via the business email compromise attacks and CEO fraud. Also, the operators of critical infrastructure and obviously the military personnel, law enforcement, and all types of other governmental agencies. For many of these organizations, our product works right out of the box. This is thanks to a standard that is already built into over 4 billion PCs and mobile devices out there. Besides the standards that avoid vendor lock, we built our solutions on the principle of maximum transparency. Also, our products are designed and manufactured in the EU in a secured supply chain. Cryonic is backed by one of the world's largest VC funds called SOSV. Also Emergo, the investment arm of Cardano blockchain from Singapore, and several European angel investors. We're currently starting a mass production of the Cryonic Key Vault in Košice, Slovakia. And we're raising funds for the Series A financing to help us scale the production and build sales channels in Europe and North America. So next time someone asks you, what's the name of that beautifully designed, highly secure multi-factor authentication key that uses biometrics and is made in Slovakia, you know the answer is Cryonic Key Vault. And then please send me their email address. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Pali.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I met you and your team last year or year and a half ago at this point when you were at the early stages. So it's wonderful to see how you have progressed through this. So I wanted to ask you, the conversation we had before, but what I'm still interested now and how it has changed is, this seems like something that would be used by big companies, big enterprises. I run a small company, most businesses out there are small companies. Is this something that a small company and also small business can benefit from?
Yes, definitely. Good question. Thank you, Vlado. I don't want it to sound like it's only for the big guys and only for the sensitive stuff. Eventually, the solution is very useful for every individual. We're also pitching it in a way that if an employee gets it from his employer, it works not only for the work-related use cases but also for personal stuff. So I can protect my Gmail account or my eBay or many other services that are constantly adding the passwordless or even usernameless login using
your
these
garage.
Excuse me?
As well, your garage, or?
Well, that's another story. Physical access is also another potential group of use cases, and yes, as long as the garage supports NFC reader, we can make the key vault work also as a key to your garage. So eventually, you know, the key is basically able to avoid many of the authentication and unlocking tools that we're using today. The badge, the you know, the RFID token, physical keys, and obviously the passwords. That's the main. For the small businesses, yes, it's also possible. I believe that the, you know, many SMBs are using Microsoft infrastructure, and with Office 365 and some of the Microsoft stack, the product works literally out of the box. So you just the administrator does one click, and the next thing you know, you can log in with this kind of beauty without really remembering any more passwords. I have a little video. Maybe I can share that as well. It's just 1 minute. So let me try that.
Sure. So before you share, just a quick follow-up question.
Sure.
When can I get one of these pens?
Well, you know, Vlado, that most probably when we were in New York in the fall of 2019, we promised that you would be one of the first. Most probably Otto Racek, we promised him to be the first, and he actually is. He already has a sample. So next time you guys meet, he can share it with you. But as a business, I mean, we're going to be ready to ship them in a few weeks. The mass production in Košice is starting, I believe, in 2 or 3 weeks. So
Okay.
here's that little video I wanted to show you. Hopefully you can see. It's just basically showing 2 different use cases when the user is logging to their PC. In this first case, it's using the RFID reader. Actually, sorry, the NFC reader. So first, Peter authenticated into the key vault using his fingerprint. We're gonna see it again with a little close-up. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
So he scans his finger and then taps the NFC reader. This is great for when PCs are shared. So for example, branch offices in banks or in hospitals where the people need to log into multiple different devices a day. And here's another option where we are using the Bluetooth connectivity. So here, even the NFC reader is not necessary, and Peter can log into his PC. And from there, have a fully passwordless single sign-on experience. So that's just a little demo I wanted to share.
And I like that it actually recognizes well when you write with it the password, so it recognizes your and.
Yeah, we didn't show that in the video, but yes, that's one of the biometric modalities that we support. So the fingerprint is one, the recognition of handwritten PIN is another one as a complementary one, and then also voice. So there's a device there is a microphone, and the device will be able to recognize the spoken PIN code. Maybe it's necessary to say that this biometric data doesn't go anywhere. It's basically evaluated directly on the device in a certified secure element. So the device doesn't connect to the internet at all, and it's just super secure.
This is really exciting and wonderful that you have progressed so much over the year that we have met. But so the last question, and very quickly, what can we do as a community in the United States to help you and help you grow here? Well,
thank you for asking. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for all your support. Please tell everyone, you know, anyone who is close to cybersecurity, even if we get validation calls or meetings, of course, proof of concepts would be wonderful, and purchase orders would be even more wonderful. But of course, we understand that we need to gain the trust of customers and partners. we're basically building our growth strategy on partnerships with system integrators and companies that can deliver this on the market. So I guess, you know, any introductions and validation meetings like this would be wonderful. So thank you again.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Sounds great. We can't wait to have that beauty in the US.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pali.
Thank you.
So with that, I would like to move to simplicity. And Juraj, I will have to mention it again. You are on the recent cover of the Forbes Slovakia magazine. For our New Yorkers who may not know how the Slovak Forbes looks like right now. So congratulations on being one of the 30 under 30. And we're glad to have you here. And we are even more eager to hear about simplicity.
Thank you for the invitation. Also, I'm so grateful because when I saw the companies presenting before me, it was really amazing solutions, guys, what you have. So good luck with your expansion. I really love your presentation. So I will also just share my screen and talk a little bit more about simplicity and what we are doing. Simplicity so far, we have been very lucky. We got one of the largest pre-seed investment to the startup from venture capital and other angel investors last year. This year we are closing another round for again a really good number to help us with our expansion. And so far we are operating in Slovakia. We are in 50 cities. We have a few cities in Estonia, one city in Israel, and a few cities in the United States already. I was also very lucky when I was younger in high school. I studied in suburb of Chicago, so I experienced living in the US and really enjoyed it. And looking forward for my other state because from July I'm supposed to live in San Francisco. So maybe if you guys are around there or I'm in New York, I would love to meet. So I will just share the screen really quick.
Absolutely.
Start the presentation.
Just let us know once you're in US and can travel to New York or will travel to New York. Let us know and we will make sure.
I think I don't know if I can say this here, but probably as I have, we are just waiting for the visa, and we have few interviews. I think next week, and hopefully everything go well. And from July, so at the moment we have office in San Francisco. And me and one of our customer success managers will be living in San Francisco, dealing with the cities what we have as our customers in Silicon Valley. But let's just play the presentation so you can learn more. Before I go into the product, I will just really quickly introduce myself and also my partner Andrei. We founded Simplicity a few years ago, 3 years ago. Before that, we were very lucky and we wrote 2 books here in Slovakia. They were best-selling books, and we also started the Very Talents International Accelerator here in Slovakia and Czech Republic and Prague, where we try to help startups and startups like us to compete. And actually, I think also IBM and, for example, Microsoft, Deloitte, few of our partners in Very Talents Accelerator. And on our board chairman of the board is Roy Ramon. He's helping us with the expansion to the US. He was working before at the Intel Capital as one of the investors startups. And also we have a previous mayor of Menlo Park City in Silicon Valley. She's also our board member in the US, helping us to spread our solution to the cities. And what are we doing? We found out and that a lot of things are already digitized. You can basically do almost anything with your smartphone, but there is not a lot of ways how you can connect with your city, how you can actually get the right enforcements, right information from your city mayor or from, for example, any other institution, from church. All these informations are lost on social media or they are on websites where nobody goes. Also, huge potential is with our young generation. We want to be involved in the city. So we try and we build few features in the app where young people can be involved. We can send, for example, what we can do. We can report some problems in the city. We see a huge shift from global to local economy. We are trying to help the local businesses in the cities to actually connect with the citizens, and there is a huge potential for the smart city industry. At the moment, we are operating in approximately 100 cities where you can find simplicity. As I said, it's in Estonia, Slovakia, US, and there is many more to go. And at the end of the day, what is our goal is to help the citizens to live better and to have better life in the cities. The product is very simple. What's going on? The citizens, they don't have the right information. So we try to scrape the news and scrape the information from the website and to send it to them directly. So for example, if the citizen is interested about getting news from a waste management company about the garbage, or they want to get information about COVID-19 enforcements or about basically anything in regards with city, they get a notification. On the other hand, also the citizen can report back to the city. They can buy a parking ticket in few of the cities. They can buy a transportation ticket. And we are integrating also other solutions, other smart solutions. So they could help the city in a mobile phone in one app. It's an end-to-end communications. It's very simple. Citizens are downloading their app. It's a white label. So for example, they are downloading from App Store app Menlo Park, but we are also working on a new product, One Simplicity, where all the cities will be in one place and citizen can just switch from city to city. The city is getting a software for municipalities, and that's it. This is very good as we are talking also with big smart city providers. And once we are in the cities, we have enough citizens using our platform. There are other companies and other also large companies and small smart city companies, and they are looking for ways how to communicate with citizens and how to actually engage them. And what we can do, we can integrate their solutions into our system, so citizens have everything in one place. Also, other features, we want to work more with sustainability. Here, for example, in one of the cities in Bratislava, the citizens, they can learn more how to work with waste, how to separate, they are getting notifications about certain type of garbage the waste companies are picking up in the morning, so they don't forget. So it's just helping we are all about helping the citizens to have an easier life in the cities. The business model, I don't know, I have this here. Yeah, it's simple. We are business model. We have a lot of business models which we can do. At the moment, we are making money from subscription from the cities. So cities paying us every month from the platform. But also there is so many other ways how we are planning to make money and how are we monetizing the solution. So if some of you are more interested later on, we can talk about it later. And this is a very nice slide. The simplicity effect. What happens in the city? So when a city gets simplicity, they are getting more engagement from the citizens. Citizens are more satisfied because they are informed, they are engaged, and at the end of the day, they feel more safe. They will feel more safe. They feel more engaged. Also the revenues of the city is increasing, and it's just a nice diagram how we are helping the cities. And we were so fortunate to have so many great people working with us already. The company is 40 people at the moment. Hopefully at the end of the year, going to be over 100. And we're just so lucky to have so many great Slovak. Also, we have a few international employees, but such a great team and very fortunate to work with them. And that's it. I have here some other slides, but yeah. Yeah, that's it. And thank you so much again for having me here.
Thank you so much, Juraj. This was again a great presentation, and I wish I had your platform in my community. I live in New York City, but one thing I would suggest, and I'm sure that you're already thinking about that, focusing on some of these little communities within big cities, these little districts like Long Island City, Sunnyside, and different places like that. But that's not my question. My question is, I assume that one of the issues or one of the things that you have to work on is having the user penetration and getting as many people in that municipality to join your app. So how do you go about that? How do you work with the city or the municipality to make sure that as many of those residents are involved? Because I'm sure that you need a lot of them involved for this to be successful.
Yeah. So far, yeah, of course, our goal is we are focusing on small and medium-sized cities which cannot afford large IT solutions. And what we are doing with the small cities. So, for example, let's talk about Menlo Park. We have a marketing kit for them, which we give them, and it's a very simple kit. What they use and tips and tactics how to bring the citizens on the platform, and it has been working very good. So far, we have approximately 35% of the city in the platform in, for example, Valga, which is one of the cities which is using Simplicity in Estonia. And it's just because when the city says something, it's super official, and citizens, they just feel instant motivation to download it because they don't want to miss out important notification, important news, important enforcement. And nobody wants to, for example, they are sending notifications about circling the streets, so you don't park your car over the night. And if you get a notification about that one day before, you know about it. But sometimes they just put it on social media, or then they send you some type of different notice. And these are the use cases what we are using and how we are helping the cities to bring there the users. And in Slovakia, for example, only in Slovakia, approximately more than 100,000 citizens are using the platform, which is we don't do any big marketing. Just the cities were spreading it through their channels.
That's impressive.
You're right. That was one of the questions we have seen in Slido. Was asking how do you create an additional value compared to social media platforms which are for free, where municipalities can communicate. But I think I heard you say that it could be.
There's a huge study. Yeah, there is a huge study about this. Also, McKinsey did a study where they compared, for example, large cities like Dubai, they can afford an official mobile app. And when they were doing study about the citizens, how much are they engaged and how they feel safe and how they feel informed. And before they had the app, there was 13% of the information and on the satisfaction with the city. And once the app was installed in the city, it's 36%. And this is for the large cities. And for example, for the small cities, they don't have money to buy solutions like that, and they don't have the manpower in the city. But also it's this question. For example, on Facebook and on other social media, you know that there is so much content and so much news that you are not really lucky to see the enforcement and information from the city. Once you have your official city in your phone, you're just getting the information which you care about. And if you care about the schools, you are getting information about schools. If you just care about the COVID-19 enforcements, you just get the information about it. And the information is delivered. And this is what we hear from all the research what we do, that the information is delivered. Where on the other hand, with the other traditional channels, it's usually lost.
So what would you say is your sweet spot? That ideal client, ideal city or municipality in size, or where they would be located. And follow up on that. What does it cost approximately for a city to implement your solution?
Yeah, so sweet spot. We have cities which have 200,000 inhabitants and also 800. So let's say, for example, 30,000 people living in Menlo Park is a great number, because the communication with the city is very, very sweet and very quick. And the cities, they are paying approximately $1,000 every month as a subscription. And what's good about this is that once we are in the city and we are helping the citizens and they are approaching us and they are basically in the platform, we are there, and it's not very easy to move us out, because they really like it. And we have also plan which is free, so the cities, they don't need to pay anything. They're in this one app, and they can just use it, and they don't need to pay. They pay for the white label. So if the city, they just want it, then they can be in the one app where there's so many cities, and they just switch from city to city. They still get the admin.
You're right. I have a great question. which is, do you need any kind of help from Slovak embassy in the United States? For example, introductions to mayor's office in Washington or New York City?
Definitely. We need two helps from the Slovaks abroad. This can be one of them. And the second one, we are growing really fast, and we are looking for great talent. We are looking for people who could help us grow and who could help us spread through the US. So if there is some people who would like to work with us in a startup, we are hiring and would love to. We can work with resellers. And we have a great team, great guys join us, which we're working with other great Slovak startups. Now, some of them are not startups anymore; they are large corporations, but which helped these Slovaks take companies spread around the world, and now they join us. So we would be happy with anyone who can help and who is interested working with us.
Jura, you just made my day. This is exactly why we do these calls. So it's to connect and help you guys, but as well sometimes to see for Slovak talents who are either trying to, help a Slovak company abroad or maybe find a slot at home back in Slovakia.
Yeah, I'm very grateful, guys, that you are doing this. I think it's amazing, and keep going. I know it's hard. Sometimes you don't see the results right away, but this is an amazing opportunity for everyone.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And, I feel that enthusiasm and growth from the way that you speak already. So looking forward to seeing great things that you guys do as a company.
Thanks a lot.
All right, and we'll make sure this connection with embassy happens.
Thank you.
I'm sure Monica was behind that question. So thanks so much. So with this, I would love to move to our last but not least startup with Tomáš. Ciao, Tomáš. And Tomáš Gliviak will introduce us to Westberry. So interested to hear about Westberry. Floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you're still enjoying your lunch break. There's actually two of us here, so I'm going to be doing the presentation, and then we have our CEO, Marek, for the Q&A, as I've been with the team. It's my second month now, so
hello, everyone.
It might be nice. It might be nice to sort of give a presentation from a point of view of somebody who's still sort of new to this, and can present it with relatively fresh eyes. And then obviously Marek has been the CEO and co-founder for the last 2.5 years, so he knows all about the history. So let me share my screen. Well, what's Westberry? It's a fund management, reporting, and analytics software for VC and PE, which is a very mouthful description, right? So let me, try to break it down. I'm sure you're familiar with companies, for example, like Google Capital or Sequoia, who invest into startups all around the world. So these guys would be called venture capital, and then we've got also some private private equity companies that maybe invest into those startups once they mature. And when they invest, their engagement with the startup doesn't end, but they obviously need to keep track of some idea of how the startup is performing, maybe how they are valuing their investment. And also, they usually, these funds, they don't invest their own money, but they come to somebody else and, they raise a pool of money and they invest it on their behalf, right? So they need to administer this kind of information and send some kind of, reports to the people who are effectively their, stockholders or shareholders, or they would be called limited partners. So they need to do some administration. You would be surprised that the guys who invest in the biggest, and the best tech companies in the world, when they do administration, it's usually a combination of, good old Excel, which I love. It's definitely my favorite tool, but can be limited. Sending those Excels over email, and then there's some people who are putting all this information together, right? And while this might be okay if you're exchanging an information about the single company and you're wanting to do how they're doing, maybe some kind of preparation for a board meeting, something like that, that's fine. But if you just gave some kind of VC like Sequoia 100 million to invest, you would probably want some kind of level of information that isn't 50 Excels in an attachment, which doesn't even fit into an email. So they have to consolidate this stuff somehow. But the typical funds, they still do this manually, and this creates a lot of errors, right? So when you're putting together 40 files, I'm sure you can miss something. It's very, very time consuming. So lacks transparency because somebody just prepares some kind of a view for you, but you have no way to sort of work with the data and maybe ask the questions that are interesting to you. So we thought that this isn't ideal, and actually this wasn't just our idea, but actually Marek has been in the industry for quite a while, and together with our two co-founders, they've been out there asking about what the pain points are, and they realized that maybe investors shouldn't be really focusing that much on reporting and data management, but keep on adding value with the thing that they're best at, which is finding quality deals. These funds are usually pretty small collectives of highly trained professionals, so they don't want to be spending too much time on the management piece. And this is where we come in, and we build a tool that really helps them to do this, with better accuracy, save them time, and also to provide a much better level of detail for the investors, which also improves transparency and creates trust. So we've built an easy-to-use tool for those funds with also a high level of automation. Customer-wise, we are quite focused on Europe now. We've been here for 2.5 years, and although it might seem like all the startups are in the US, this is the most recent European capital map, by the way, great resource that maps the VCs in Europe. So there's a slightly under 1,000 relevant VCs on the Europe market. And you can see that there's a list of the top 15 most powerful VCs ranked by assets under management. So that's effectively ranked by what's the pool of the money that they're investing. So we've been lucky enough, and also I've been lucky enough to join a team that's landed the number 2 already. So this beautiful name Atomico, which for many of you might not say anything, but these guys have invested into really interesting companies. You might be familiar with the food delivery Vault, for example, or Pipedrive as a CRM. So quite a lot of interesting names. So we've been working with them for some time, and then we also have some other customers, spread across Europe. Also, one notable mention from Sandberg in Bratislava. So those are the ones that we are able to visit even under restrictions. So we've got some already very, very good customers, and still focusing on Europe for the sake of for the ease of access. But obviously, if you'll be having any connections, whether it's in Europe or US, and knowing some CFOs or COOs in funds, we'd be very, very happy for an introduction to speak to them. Most of our customers are very happy to also provide references, so we've got very good relationships there. And these guys tend to know each other's quite well. There's 14 of us here on the picture. So there's our 3 co-founders and 11 other people, but there's 12 of us. There was one person missing. Already an international team sitting here in beautiful offices in middle of Bratislava. And we are currently hiring, so we are looking to bring this number to somewhere around 20, sort of in line with our revenue expectations. So if I were to put it in a nutshell, over the last 2.5 years, Marek and the team have built what I consider really, really amazing and detailed fund management and reporting and analytics software. We've hit just 100K ARR at the end of last year. We are on track for $500,000 at the end of this year. I'm a numbers guy, so I really like to sort of show the context where we are. We already help manage almost 4 billion in assets under management with Atomico as the obvious flagship customers, but a few more around Europe. We are forecasting some kind of more focused expansion into the US at the end of next year. So definitely want to keep in touch with you guys, but we are obviously not saying no to having a few customers there already, and we're quite flexible with our time zones, so we'll have to support. There's 3 co-founders and 12 other people in the team, currently all located in Bratislava. And you could really help us with 3 things. So we are currently expanding our team, so always looking for developer talent, testers, and we're also looking for a head of marketing and a more junior salesperson. if you would know anyone who's in the region, or perhaps considering coming back home, or maybe working from where they are and have some B2B SaaS experience, and maybe they are looking to maybe they might be somewhere down the line of the startup growth. I've been previously in a startup called Expona, seen it from 20 people to 300, and to 200, but then to some kind of successful acquisition. And for me, this was a wonderful opportunity to take all that learning and apply it to some kind of like fresh context where you still have the space to not be slowed down by all the already established processes. So we love to get to know people like that. Most of us have international backgrounds. They either studied or worked abroad. So we'll be very happy if you can connect us. And then finally, we work best with funds that are raising maybe their second or third fund. So that's when they reach a level of sophistication where Excel isn't enough. So if you know any investment managers, CFOs, COOs, we'll be very happy to speak to them. You can find our emails at the bottom of the page. So thanks a lot, and now we'll take the questions.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Now, maybe myself, Kika and Vlatko, we're not the financial experts and gurus from the New York Professionals Group, but we know we have a couple of great talents who are working in the area of private equity and or venture capital. So we will definitely make sure that these guys see you. And what would you say would be your next step? I saw that US expansion is more toward the end of next year.
I mean, I'll probably let Marek take.
Yeah. Thanks, and pleasure to meet you all. Yeah, even though the US expansion is planned for Q4, the lead time or the sales cycles are usually 6 to 9 months. So I think it's great time to start speaking to potential customers, to introduce them to the tool. You need to get a lot of buy-in within the company, if you make this kind of big decision of switching this kind of core IT system within a fund. So it's natural to really start talking to the leads very early on. I think the US, it's the biggest market for private equity and venture. So clearly, it's the end goal for us. We just have to build proper reference base in Europe. Most of these funds, and also the one that Tomáš highlighted, Atomico, they're very active in the US portfolio of Stripe, a lot of Silicon Valley success stories they are involved with. So, we need to build a few of these points, and then we can actually even go, I would say, physically to the US and open the offices. But to kind of build that lead base, I think the time is already now, right? So any CFO, COO of a fund, that's the right person that we look talking to.
Yeah, we certainly have some people in our network that are in those positions. So we'll try to connect you. Where do you see the company in the next 3 years in terms of growth and valuation?
Okay, so valuation, that's always a tricky question, and to be forecasting this. But look, I think this is an interesting business model where the lifetime value of these customers is very long. Once you make implementation of this tool, it's really hard to switch. So the switching costs are super high. So this also kind of increases the potential valuation. And within the next 3 years, we are aiming to get somewhere between 15 to 20 million revenue, which, if you divide it by 10, that's somewhere where we are getting in terms of the valuation. So, the US is the strongest market. So to make these numbers, we have to be present there.
And a quick last question: how did you get started? Who was your first client?
Our first client was a London-based VC called Anthemis Group. Actually, they have headquarters in New York. So
interesting.
Their biggest office is actually in London, but the founder of Anthemis Group is a New Yorker. So technically, the HQ is there. So they're our first customer. The first feedback loop, we iterated the product with them, and we had a lot of inputs into the product development. So.
That's
an
amazing
I mean,
story.
we are 2 years in, so I would say 2.5 years now. So relatively, young company, but I think the traction is getting there.
And
Absolutely.
I have people asking on Slido here that I see, what kind of positions are you hiring for, or are they remote?
Yeah, I think Corona taught us that remote is actually standard now. So definitely all these positions can be remote. These are mostly technical positions. So, Node.js, React, that's our technical stack. On the business side, we're looking for head of marketing. So somebody has seen how to, scale up a B2B SaaS with long sales cycles and long lead generation times. Plus like a salesperson, maybe on the junior side, just to get out there, talk to people, and just to do the demos. So I think that's more. These are the current positions that we want to hire until summer or end of summer.
Perfect.
And you look for people in Slovakia, like expats in Slovakia, or people in US?
Technically, this could be anywhere, but thinking out loud, I think the technical people, it's easier to hire in Slovakia, and also from the cost wise, of course, but the marketing sales, that could be global. I mean, we have investors actually from Asia, from Norway, from Finland. So, our customers could be anywhere from Singapore to New York. So these people could also sit anywhere.
Amazing. It's really fabulous to see young talent grow and make Slovakia visible around the world. So we're more than happy to cheer you up and help you guys if we can.
Yeah, thank you very much, and also thank you for this opportunity. It's great to showcase what we're building here to the market that's where we want to be in a few months or years.
Yeah, and if you ever travel to New York, we are known for making good happy hours with our visitors.
So that goes to everybody that participated today. We would love to meet you in person, obviously, but I'm glad that this pandemic has taught us that we can do these connections even internationally and via Zoom, and we don't have to wait until you actually come here to meet people. And we're going to try to do these events while we have our in-person events. We're going to try to do stuff online so we can connect not just companies, but brilliant Slovaks from Slovakia with brilliant people here in New York. So looking forward to more events like that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys for doing it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And if anybody has any questions for any of these startups, feel free to reach out. They share their emails and contact information in their presentations, and we'll follow up in an email and on social with all of their contact information. Many of them are hiring, so I'm sure we had a lot of people asking about that already. So hopefully we'll be able to help.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.